All right, so on this demo, we'll be doing these two Nelson clocks. By now, you guys should have done all three shapes, although I didn't give you a demo for shape number 2 and 3. I'm hoping that shape number 1 demo was enough of a clue to kind of get you guys through. So let's get on to this Nelson clock. So on the screen here, I have the two Nelson clock that I'd like you to model. Let's start off with this ball clock a little, first. And here's some rough dimensions here, just to kind of give you an idea how big the round base is and things like that. So from now on, I like you guys to at least try to model in scale to a certain degree. Okay, so we'll get here. Let's just kind of enlarge this thing a bit. And I am in a 1 inch units in Rhino. So this is a 1 inch diameter circle base. So I'm going to now kind of be more disciplined and start right in my 0, 0, if you will. So I'm going to draw, or yeah, I think I'm going to let's stay with the primitive. So I'm going to go 0 and then type 1, enter. And it's probably like a 1/4 inch thick, so I'm going to type in 0.25. And so I have my little circle here, which represents this guy. All right, so thinking about it strategically, I think I'm going to make these long cylinders and make a sphere, and just kind of have my parts and then kind of rotate them and put them in the right location. So let's go with the long cylinder here. And maybe the thickness is going to be about yay thick, and let's make that 7 inches tall. And I know that's 7 inches tall. We'll go to perspective and we'll see it. And then I'm going to go to a sphere, which is a ball, right? And then maybe the ball should be about that big. All right, so here's my kit of parts. Oh yeah, that's too long. But anyway, now I'm going to rotate that down. So I'm going to use this green part here. Click that. Go to my front view. And it's really important that you use these orthographic views to kind of figure out where you should be. I'm going to take that face here and then reduce it, because it shouldn't be that long. Wrong software. I'm using the keyboard arrows. All right. Let me see. Proportionally, do I like that? I mean, the arms are supposed to be like 3 inches long, so maybe it's, yeah, maybe it's close. I'm being lazy. I really should draw a line here, draw another line 3 inches away and snap to it, but let's just keep this thing moving. So let's say you have a hard time kind of aligning this thing. You know, obviously it's not completely centered. Again, you want to use the align tool. Use these guys. Horizontal center, and then back to 0. There you go. Let's see what that is. Go back to align tool, which means I just hit the space bar. Take that, and I guess horizontal center again from that view. Okay, so then I know that's perfectly aligned. You know, that's definitely looking like the cousin, and you're not anywhere near the proportion of this. So let's do this. Let's do another tool that I want to share with you. We're going to scale this image. So I'm going to click that and go scale, enter. My base point, what did we say that was? 2 inches across. So my base point, I'm going to kind of roughly click here. And my other point somewhere, I'm going to hold down shift so I draw a straight line somewhere here. And my third click is going to be just 2 inches, or 2, enter. So now this should measure roughly 2 inches. Okay, then I can get that to be down here. You know what, let's actually do all this the proper way. Let me move this away. Then I can move this using this center point there, and then go to 0, type 0, enter. So then I am kind of centered roughly. Let's go to layers. Boy, this demo's gonna get much longer now. So I'm gonna just keep it at default layer. So all of my bases at default layer, and I will move all of these to my layer 1. Alright, so as you can see, my default layer, if I turn off the light bulb, everything disappears, and I want my default layer to be my trace layer, if you will. So let me just go ahead and select all of these guys and move it to layer 1. So you're going to come here to layer 1, right click, and say change object layer. So now if I turn off my layer, or default layer, all my traces, all my trace disappears, but all of these are in layer 1, and the layer 1 default color just for the shaded view is red, so you can see what the differences are, and all my objects are kind of temporarily shaded red. So that's kind of your first intro to kind of layers, and let's just kind of lock this layer so I don't accidentally select it. And we will work on, the checkbox means whatever I'm doing now is working on layer 1. So now let's go ahead and move this sucker back. You know, let me draw a line, Li at 0. And we should do these things properly. And I'm going to just draw myself a quick reference line. So I have a line that's crossing that. I'm going to select all of this, go to move. And then I'm going to click on this dot here, which gives me, and then I move here to center. It should give me center. Come on. Center. So I got that center. And then I'm going to now go to this intersection. So then I'm kind of perfectly lined up. And actually, where's my, oops, my layer, my default layer. I'm going to bring it down so that I could see my layer 1. What's going on here? Kind of see that. Okay. So now I can move that ball a little bit closer here. And if I really wanted to, scale it up a little bit more. And then now I can kind of turn off my default layer. Oop, make sure I'm at my layer 1. Control Shift, sorry. Trying to do things too quickly. All right, so I kind of have my basis of my clock ready to go. And so now we're going to just kind of rotate copy all of these things to make the hands. Couple of things actually before I do that. Let me kind of show you the pitfalls of these things. So let me move this and let me make a copy of this over. Okay, so if I try to rotate these guys around this clock, you can see that my rotation gizmo is here. So when I rotate, it rotates off of that. That's not what we want, right? We want it to rotate off the center point of this thing. So what you can do is you can click on this little white ball. I think they call it a rabbit's tail, I think. I'm not quite sure. And then you can say relocate gumball. And then you could kind of click. When I hit this dot, it goes to my center. So it relocates it on my XY. It doesn't matter. So now this gumball, when I rotate, it's going to rotate in that manner, right? So again, I undid. So I selected both of these things. It's kind of giving me the center of these two objects kind of combined as an average. I'm going to click on that little thing here, relocate gumball, pick the center, and then establish the X and the Y, or I just flipped it, it doesn't matter. And then now I can hold down the Alt button and make copies, and it does that, right? So obviously that's one way to do it, but this is also not the best way to do it because I need it at 30-degree increments. But I just wanted to show you guys how to relocate gumball and how to go about making multiple copies around a center point. But that was horrible. So we're actually not going to use the rotate command, but we're going to use a command called array. So let's go here. Then again, let's go array. It's going to ask me select objects to array, these guys. And then actually I want a different array. Sorry, instead of just array, you want array polar. Polar is kind of in a circular pattern. So I'm going to say array polar. Select these two, enter. The center of my array is going to be center of this circle. Number of items, I want 12. And I'm going to go 360, which is a clock. And there you go. And enter to accept. So that's how you do that particular Nelson clock. And I actually don't need these guys anymore because I'm already done here. I am going to select all these. Oops. Hold down shift if I want to select more. And I'm going to group them. So that way they kind of move together. So I'll have one clock there. We'll go through changing the colors and all that stuff at another demo. Or you guys can try to figure it out yourself. I think that'll be awesome. But anyway, Control Alt Shade. So it's all shaded to the default color of the layer. Okay, there you go. So here's the ball Nelson clock. Ready to go. Oops. Let me delete that so I can see what I'm doing. Alright, so that's the ball Nelson clock. And then let's do the starburst. Let me see. So, oh, actually, I shouldn't have deleted that circle. I'm going to start with the same circle there. And then let's do these triangulated arms. It should be actually relatively simple. Let's go to the front view here so that these triangulated arms lay flat on the table. So I'm going to just go to the front view. And let's try this here, which is this pyramid. If you click that, it'll ask you how many sides, whether it's inscribed, so that the pyramid sits on the inside of the circle or the outside of the circle. You know, you guys should always be aware that there's all these sub menus after you get into a command. But let's just click and drag and see what happens. So this gives me kind of a pyramid that I want. And then I'm just going to type 10 for 10-inch long. Let's see what we've created. Oh, it actually kind of reduced it for me automatically. I wasn't anticipating that. Let's try that again. Kind of cheated. So we'll go back. Oh, yeah, no duh. It's gonna have a taper point. So again, the three sides, you can kind of lay it flat. I'm trying to lay it flat here. And then it's gonna come out, you know, 8 inches, and it's gonna into a point basically 8 inches away. Right? So there's that. So that was pretty painless. I am gonna come in here, and that's probably too long. How should we edit that? I think for now we'll just scale it. It's probably about the right size. I'll just kind of keep it off center for now, and then purposely, that way we can align. Trying to model a little bit more accurately here. Enter. Then we want to go vertical center like that, and then snap to my little guides. There you go. So like that. Put that up. And now go to the front view because this arm is floating in the air. Take it down. Obviously my base is too thin, so I'm going to reduce my arm. Okay. Sorry guys, I'm getting a little bit anal here, but I think it's important that these are scaled correctly, just from a designer perspective. Okay, my dog is... Alright guys, I had to control my dog here from barking. I'm back. So I kind of adjusted this shape. It doesn't matter, but I kind of want to get it more proportionally accurate to the clock. So let's just now do our array, A-R-R-A. And I remembered our last array command, array polar. So I'm going to select that. Enter. And then center is going to be at this intersection. And then again, I remembered 12. So I'm going to push enter. And then 360, enter. Do I like what I see? Yes, enter. And there you go. So now I have our starburst clock. Oops, it's a little bit jacked up here, but you guys get my point. So there will be another demo for the making these little shapes here, but hopefully you guys can figure it out. We'll see you in the next demo.